Hi Tim. So good to see you all joined. Just wait for 1 minute more. I'll give you the introduction and then Abhishek will do the main talking for this session for 2 hours. So I know this time is a bit odd for some of the regions is because it's a lunch time, but considering Pakistan, considering Kuwait and Qatar, we finalized on this particular schedule. So thank you so much for that. Uh, Abhishek, though the people who are joining, you can add them parallelly. Um, Thank you again. As most of you guys know, my name is Nikhil. I'm a product manager for NetApp for Middle East and Pakistan. We are the distributors for uh, NetApp. We are the value-added distributors for NetApp, and that is what not we say. That is what NetApp also claims. And why NetApp is claiming it is because we have been growing a lot in the region. So we had a growth of around 239% in last couple of years. That is the reason why NetApp is also investing in Logicom. We have a 7 dedicated resources now working for Middle East and Pakistan. So Abhishek and Arvind is our technical uh, pre-sales pillars. Our one pillar is in India now, enjoying his holidays, but Abhishek is here. So Abhishek can not only help you for the technical session, he will also help you for in case if you want any end customer visits, any end customer roundtable conferences, any certifications for your company. We will definitely do that. So Abhishek comes from vast background on storage, largely experience on NetApp specifically. So he's ex NetApp himself. He have worked in NetApp India for 5 6 years. Prior to that, he's ex Lenovo and ex IBM. So I think he have covered most of our competition as well. Why I'm mentioning that is because in case if you have any doubt in terms of competitive analysis, feel free to ask during the session. We will be able to answer that. We do get a lot of MDF from NetApp as our team is growing, as our market shares are also going. So do let us know if you want to have any plans to do any end customer activities or any partner trainings and customer trainings. Nothing big, probably say 5 6 top customers of yours. We will definitely fund that. We'll be more than happy to fund any of those activities for that matter. We do carry demo boxes as well. Even the latest demo box, which is ASAC 250, we ordered from NetApp 4 5 months back, if I'm not wrong. I know a couple of your guys are already using the same. So do let me know in case if you want to have any demos for your customer. Um, Today's session is a bit different. Today, we will not do a sales speech in terms of this is what NetApp is doing. Today, we will not do a talking on 99.99% availability. Today, we will not do talking on metro cluster and all. Today's session is a base for all of us. It is a base for sales. It is a base for pre-sales on which we can build our business. Why I am saying it is a base is because Abhishek will take you through three main aspects of NetApp, which is Cottage, Fusion, and Hardware Universe. So in the background, I'm sure Abhishek will check with you guys in terms of who have access to Cottage, who don't have access to Cottage. But the whole objective of this particular session is to make you understand that whenever you send us the request, what is the work that goes in background in terms of creating codes, how we decide which is the model that needs to be pitched in, how we decide or from where we get the information on IOPS, on throughput, on what is the disk size that are available to us, what are the disks that we need to select out of the disk type that we have. In whenever you comes with any competition information or any end of sale information, end of life information, end of service information, where do we get that information? We will explain you in this particular session. So those who have the access, this session will definitely make you self-dependent, as in you don't have to depend on any distributor for that matter if you have the access. If you don't have the access, do let us know. We will definitely guide you and we will also connect you with the vendor. So this is the whole idea of today's session. I thank you again for joining it. And over to Abhishek. Abhishek, you can take it forward from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikhil, for a wonderful introduction. So before I start, uh, I'd like to thank every one of you for taking out time and joining the session. And I have enabled the mic access and the camera access of all the participants on purpose. The reason being, this is not going to be a boring PPT session. So this is going to be a interactive session. Okay. And I will show you how the tool works and how we configure at the back end. And like when you ask for a particular quote of a particular requirement, what is the process that we follow at the back end? How do we go ahead and arrive at the pricing? We will show you all those things. But before that, I'd like also to inform you that this is going to be interactive session. At any point of time, if you have any queries, please stop me and ask me, and like I will definitely answer that. Okay. So so before I start, like I would like to share my screen. Okay. Okay. So, the first thing that I would like to know is I assume that all the resellers who have joined this particular call have access to the Partner Hub portal. So, if you do not have access to the Partner Hub portal, please do let us know. We will provide you with an username. We will request a NetApp team to provide you with an username and password so that you can go ahead and access this Partner Hub portal. So Partner Hub portal is the single window through which you can go ahead and access the quotation, the opportunity that you have created, everything. Okay. So so you open up Chrome or any browser that you use, and you type in partnerhub.netapp.com, and you will land up in this particular page, which looks like this. Uh, is my screen visible to everyone? Okay, fine. So when you land in this particular page, this is the landing page you will find over here. And the good thing about this Partner Hub portal is that not only your bill of material or the opportunity regarding the customer, you would also be able to find out the training, the learning modules that you need to do for your self-development, or say, for example, you want to do a particular certification, say for example, a NCTSP certification or a NCDA certification. What are the backend modules that you need to first study? What are the internal assessments that you need to do? So these are all mentioned in this particular portal. So if you want to do if your organization wants to do service certified learning, like, get certified on installation, implementation, you can go ahead and subscribe to the service certified tracks, and you can be service certified as well. Your organization can be service certified as well. So based on that, you can also visit, these are solution areas where there are different topics like cyber resilience, AI analytics. You can go ahead and study them. We have the playbooks available, like say for example, you are meeting the customer for the first time. What are the benefits that you need to talk? What are the target personas that you need to talk? Like the line of business, and how what NetApp can bring benefits to the the AI story. So these are all mentioned over here. You just need to go ahead and explore this particular modules. Okay. uh, Regarding cloud, like what are the options that we have, how can we help regarding any kind of industry-based solutions, including like we have classified it into different verticals like healthcare, manufacturing. So you can just go ahead and see those things. Okay. Uh, Regarding training, I have spoken about. Also regarding the tools and insights, you can also find the options over here. Regarding deal registrations, you can also find, like how to go ahead and register your deal, create an opportunity. These are all the things that you can find. In one word, you can say that this is the for the partner organization, for the distributor organization, this is the Bible for us. Okay, to get into the NetApp world. So if you see over here, say for example, if we need to, a particular reseller comes to us and ask, to go ahead and, create an opportunity and provide you with a quote for, say, 100 TB capacity. Okay. So what is the first step that we do? So the first step that we do is we go ahead and start a deal registration process. Okay. Now let me tell you, the deal registration process is a very transparent process. So we go ahead and create a particular opportunity wherein we go ahead and register that opportunity with a particular reseller, and that particular reseller definitely gets a lot of benefits in terms of pricing when it comes to, like they go ahead and share the prices with the customer. We definitely, the registered partner definitely gets some benefit on the pricing. Okay. So this is the process wherein we go ahead and start a new deal, and after that we select which is the reseller. The all the resellers who are registered with NetApp, you can find all their names over here. Okay. So say for example, I choose any reseller over here, and then we choose the currency, which would be typically USD, and we go ahead and click on next. Now, this is where we go ahead and select the customer. Okay. So say for example, if we select a customer, okay, and then we choose the country where that particular customer is located. Okay. So it will be UAE definitely. Sometimes when the requests come from Pakistan or Kuwait or Qatar, we select the country accordingly. So over here, and then we search it. So you will find that, there are so many, accounts which are there over. So you need to select, and if you don't find the customer over here, we need to create a new customer and provide with all the end user details, and then we have to create a new customer in the account. Okay. So as we have, say for example, I choose AdNoc over here. So if you see AdNoc, we have got so many options over here. So we select AdNoc over here, and then we click on next. So we create an opportunity name, say for example, test, and then we select the customer contact. Okay. Now, if this is a different department and you don't find your contact over here, you need to create or add the new contact over here. And you can add that particular end user to that particular opportunity. So after you add that, you need to put an estimated value of the total opportunity of the deal that you are going to do. Okay. And you need to select this deal registration. So there is a checkbox over here, which you need to go ahead and, check mark on it. Okay. After this is done, you can ship to install in a different country. It would be no over here. And then this is end customer usage, and you go ahead and click on create opportunity. Okay. So this is the process through which you create a new opportunity in the system with your specific customer. Now, as soon as you create a deal registration, there's a backend automated mail which is being sent to that particular, mm, to that particular account manager. Or what you can do, you can share this particular opportunity details with us. We can forward the deal registration team to go ahead and register the DR for your organization. So these are the two steps you can follow. And after that, after the DR is approved by the account manager, then if we, we start working on that account. Okay. So this is how a particular opportunity is being created. Any questions over here? Please feel free to, ask any questions. Hello. I want it to be an interactive session. Any questions?
No questions for me.
Okay.
No questions. Clear.
Okay. So after you create this particular account, what we need to do is we need to create a bill of material for this particular customer. Okay. So, so say for example, you already have an opportunity number. When you go to this particular tab, which says selling at the top, there are two options you see over here: opportunities and deal registration. Okay. And the second option you see as quote console. So you click on opportunities and deal registration, and you put in the opportunity number which is being created as I showed you earlier. So there would be an opportunity number which would be created over there. Okay. Which would be something like this. 1263872. Say for example, something like this, or 1654445. So after you click on that particular opportunity, what you need to do is we need to go ahead and create a quote for that particular customer. Okay. So let me see. So let me go ahead and find out an opportunity where we can create a new code. Okay. Just 1 second, guys. So I have taken one opportunity from one of my resellers, and you will, after you put in the opportunity number in that box and you click on search, you will land in this particular page. Okay. So over here, there is an option wherein you can click on create quote. So edit, create deal registration, create quote. Okay. So you need to click on create quote over here. So the option today, what we are going to show is creating a new storage with a specific number of disk and with specific network port support and etc. We are not going to show you how to do a renewal or an upgrade in today's session because it's another topic altogether. So when you click on create quote, it will ask you to create a quote name. So the first thing that you need to do is give a name to this particular quote and click on create. So when you click on create, it will take you to a different window, and this is basically the place where your quote ID will be generated. So quote ID and opportunity ID, these are two different numbers. So in an opportunity ID, there can be multiple quote IDs. Say, for example, you are giving 2 or 3 options to the customer. So you want to segregate individual quote IDs for individual product, which you are giving to the customer. So that moment you can create multiple quote IDs for a single opportunity. So let's wait. Okay. So this is the window I was talking about, and at the top left corner, you will find the quote ID generated over here. Now, when this quote ID is generated, what you need to do is, say, for example, the storage that you need to configure is an AFF or an ASA or a fast system. Okay. So So if you see this particular window, so this is the catalog wherein you can either go ahead and create a new storage, or you can create an upgrade, or you can create a renewal, or you can create a bill of material for the cloud products as well. So if you click on this product catalog option on the right top corner, you will see all the products that are available. Sometimes it is a bit confusing, so I generally don't prefer my resellers to go ahead and get confused in this particular window. In fact, there are options where you can even create Commvault or any other software from our tool itself. Okay, you can create a cabinet also, a standalone cabinet also. Okay. Or say, for example, you need a single HBA card, that also you can do. You can create a bill of material for storage grid or the solid fire is stopped by NetApp. So you cannot go ahead and ship it or put the order in the factory. But this is the window where you can go ahead and create. You can see all the portfolio over here. In fact, the E series, the express packs, everything you can see over here. The storage grid. If you need only professional services, that also you can go ahead and click, create from over here. Training units, for training, you can create. What I would suggest is that you should always go ahead and try to mm, create code from the first option that you see over there. Okay, because that's less confusing. Because okay, sorry, 1 second, let me open it up again. Mhm. I'll create a new one. So try to select it from the CPQ product catalog over here. So when you see this option, you select the second option, which is FAS, AFF, and ASA. Okay. Uh, you click on this second option, you will find it moves to a different window, which is the CPQ. Now, over here, you will find the same option which you see in that earlier page, but over here it's much more easier. Now, you have to decide whether the product that you are going to supply would be an ASA, which is a block only storage, or a unified storage, whether it's an AFF or a fast system. If you are configuring a AFF storage, then you need to click on the option at the top, not the option below, which is the ASA. So you click on the top option, then you will be moving to a different window where you will get four different options. Okay, what are the options? Say, for example, you are configuring a new cluster. It's a greenfield project. Customer requires the storage for the new application or a new site, and you configure and you are providing this particular storage to that particular customer. Okay. Now, say, for example, a customer already has, a particular NetApp storage. You want to add this particular storage which you're configuring now to the existing cluster. So this is an option from where you can go ahead and click on add to existing cluster. So it will ask you for the existing cluster details, and then you can create a new storage which will match with the existing cluster. Okay. Or say, for example, customer wants a metro cluster kind of an option wherein, he needs, automatic failover kind of a scenario with an RPO of zero, near zero RTO, and, complete storage failover in case of a disaster. So those metro cluster kind of environments, we can click and create from this particular tab. There are also options wherein you can hot swap the controller, or, in fact, or a disruptive swap of a controller without the storage. So customer has an existing flash system, you first check whether the disk shelves that are connected with the old storage is also compatible with the new storage that you are proposing. The firmware layer or the on-tap version that is running on the old storage is also supported on the new controller. Base Post that, you can go ahead and do a controller swap over here with the fourth option. Okay, but my request would be, if this any of these three option comes, please share the details with us so that we can guide you, because it's a bit complex option. But the first option that you see, configure new cluster, which accounts to almost 95% of the request that comes from you, so you can do it by yourself. Okay, so we select this first option which says configure new cluster, and then click on next. After you click on next, you will go to the cluster manager window. So at the top, you see cluster manager. So over here, you have to select the model. The model means like, like whether it will be an all flash, or whether it will be a fast system, whether it will be a C series, you have to decide over here. All the models are listed over here. Say, for example, I select something like, A70. Okay. Now, after I select this model, I have to click on add HA pair. So as soon as I click on add HA pair, so you see this line gets populated wherein the model number is mentioned, HA pair count is mentioned, controller count is mentioned, and it also asks me to configure. So what is this HA pair count? So in NetApp, we use the term called HA pair. HA pair means, all the storage systems which are available in the market nowadays comes in a dual controller configuration, like, two controllers in a box. So in NetApp, we use the term as HA pair. One HA pair is equivalent to two controllers which are in a redundant connectivity. So one HA pair you see over here, and there are two controllers, and then it will ask you to configure. So after you click on configure, it will go inside this particular tool, and there are options wherein you select, what are the details you want. So first is the PSU option. Always keep it as titanium, because this is a very efficient power supply mode. We always keep it as titanium. Then the next tab, you will find it as storage. Now, if you see on the top, some are mentioned in red and some are mentioned in blue. So whenever you face any kind of an error, the color becomes red at the top. On the words become, comes with a red color. And if you resolve that error, and if that error goes away, then it turns into blue. So say for example, you select the drive type 2 into 3.8 TB SED, and you see, so it mentioned minimum 6 base specs are required. So we will click on 6. Okay. At the top, you will see that the red color goes away, and there is one. Okay. So why this error is coming? Because it says that you have not met the minimum capacity requirement of 68 TB. Okay. So if you multiply 3.8 with 12, it comes to approximately around 45 TB. Okay. So that is why you are still seeing this red mark. Okay. Now I will change it to, just hold on, I'll change it to 8. So you now we have matched that particular capacity error which was coming, and you will find that it has turned into blue. So this is the bare minimum that you need to go ahead and configure for this particular storage. Okay. Now, the question arises is that, say for particular capacity, how do we understand, or how do we know what is the, how many disks could be required? How much throughput it will give. So for that, we have a different tool which is known as Fusion, which I will show it in a few minutes. So say for example, I select 8 drives over here. The next tab is the cabinet. So don't do anything over here. If the customer asks for a NetApp cabinet, you can go ahead and select this yes option. After you click on this yes option, it will ask you for the PDU region. There's only one option, and always remember, it always selects three-phase PDU, and there is only one option of a single phase PDU. If you are proposing to a telco company or a telecom organization, they generally keep one single phase PDU in their data center. So this is one area you need to be careful about. So in fact, you can give separate one single phase PDU outside. You can configure it outside, but in general, what you can do is you can select any PDU over here, and you can put a single phase PDU from the outside. That is another option which you can do. But in general, the three phase two PDU. So there are two PDUs over here, three phase. You can also go ahead and select four PDUs over here. This is also a three phase 4 PDU. So there are four PDU units. This is the power distribution unit of the rack. Okay, and the storage or any other devices which are put on the rack, they don't directly go ahead and connect to the power supply. They connect to the PDU first, and from the PDU it goes to the main power supply. Okay, and if you don't have any requirement of a rack, you can select, or a cabinet, you can select it as no. Okay, so when you select no, what happens is that automatically the rail kit, the rack mount kit, the power supply, which is in cabinet power cord, this automatically gets configured. If you want a bit lengthier cord, you can also select this 1.2 meter power cord from here as well. Okay, so these are the options, and these are auto selected in this particular window. Next comes your NICs and adapters. So NICs and adapters are basically the connectivity options with the host from the storage. Okay. So the first option that you see over here is an 100 gig card. So you will find the adapter type of mention over here. So what is the main purpose of this adapter? So that is what it is mentioned as cluster. Please remember, with the new generation AFF storage or the ASS storage, this particular card comes by default. Okay. Now this is always required for the intra cluster of the controllers. So you please don't delete this particular option. This is necessary for the internal storage to work. Okay. What you can do is you can either select a fiber or copper cable, and you can select a length for that particular the smallest 0.5 meter you can select for this particular connectivity, which is for the intra cluster connectivity. Please remember, this particular card cannot, I mentioned, it cannot be used for any kind of host connectivity. Okay. So if you want host connectivity, you have to select other cards from here. So when you drop down the menu, there are two options. Well, one is the target mode and the other is the network. So if the customer needs any kind of a fiber channel cards, like a 16 gig fiber channel or 32 gig or a 64 gig, he needs to select this second option, which is the target mode. So when you select this target mode, you will find all the adapters listed over here. Okay. So there are two options, basically 64 GB fiber channel options you see over here. So you select this target option. Please remember uh, the ports which will be on the storage. These are all target ports. Okay, don't select them as initiator. Our storage is actually the target for the host. So that is why these are already marked as target. Okay. Then all four ports target, and we have to select two cards because of redundancy, because there are two PCI slots which needs to be fulfilled for redundant purposes. So we select two. This is the bare minimum. And if you see at the top, you will find that what are the total number of slots, PCI slots that are available on the system. So you will find that there are 18 number of PCI slots that are available in this particular storage. Okay. So after you select this particular card, again, you select what is the cable type, which would be fiber, and you select the cable length, which would be typically 5 meter, or you can select 2 meter as well, or some customers also select 15 meter. Okay. Now, customers also ask for a network card or a network connectivity in case he wants to use a CIFS or an NFS or he has some 10G copper ports as well. So in that case, you select that network option at the top. When you select the network option, the all the network cards or the HBAs that are available will get populated. So over here, you find that there is a 10G base T option over here. There is a 4 port 10G/25 GB option over here. There is also an option for 100, 200, and 400 gig. Now, this was not possible with the older generation systems like A400 or A700 or A800. As A70 works on a PCI 5 architecture and new generation Intel Sapphire Rapids processor, so this particular this network card has been made possible. Okay, and we can even provide 400 gig connectivity on from the storage as well. Okay, but these are not InfiniBand; these are Ethernet. Okay, so Rocky basically. So in general, what we have seen is that in normal cases, customers do not keep, and enterprises normally they don't keep 100 or 200 gig apart from high performance computing or like analytics, high-end analytics or an AI kind of a requirement. So it generally revolves between the last two options. So either customer asks for a base T copper ports or a 10G/25G. Okay, so this is the card that you need to select if you want to propose a 10G SFP plus option to the customer. But please remember, when you're selecting this particular card, either you have the option to put a 10G transceiver or a 25 gig transceiver in this particular card. Now, if you select 25 gig transceiver over here, it won't drop down and work with 10G. It won't. So please be very careful what customer has. If customer has 25 gig switch, then only use 25 gig, because you might find it in the fiber channel world, when you are using a 64G fiber channel, it can drop down two generation and it can work on 32G fiber channel or a 16G fiber channel. So if we use the same analogy, you might result in a FOC. So please remember, if customer has 10G switches, 10G fiber switches, select the 10G option only. 25G cannot drop down and work with 10G. If customer says that I will upgrade in future to 25G, the easiest thing you can do is you can get the 25 gig transceivers from us and you just replace the 10 gig transceiver with the 25 gig transceivers. But what customer has, you need to give that option only. Okay, if customer has 10G switch, don't give 25 gig on your network connectivity. It will not drop down. It will work on 25 gig only. So I have selected the 10G option as a SFP, and then the same exercise where we click on create, take the fiber option, and it will come length 5 meter. Okay. So after we select this, this portion is done. And then we go back to the cluster manager. You see, there are no errors right now at the top. So we click on the option which says back to cluster manager, or you can manually check for errors also. There is an option which says check for errors. But if you don't see any red mark over here, there's no need to go ahead and check for errors. So after we go back to the cluster manager, we are back to the page from where we started configuring the disk and everything. And over here, you see the status is says complete. That means we have gone ahead and configured the disk and everything inside. Now at the top, you find another option which says software. Now over here, you will find that NetApp offers two options over here. One is ONTAP 1 and the other is ONTAP base. The basic difference is like ONTAP base comes with the basic fundamental features. like all the protocols that you come up with, all the fiber channel, iSCSI, your NAS protocols, and also few additional feature sets like Snap Restore, FlexCone, encryption, and the TPM. Apart from that, any kind of a replication license or a autonomous ransomware protection, or additional snap lock or a multi-tenant key management, these are all offered in ONTAP 1. Okay, so make sure you select the right option over here. Either it should be ONTAP base or it should be ONTAP 1. You cannot select both of them at the same time. So if you select both, you will find an error over here. So I select ONTAP 1 and I move to the services window. So this is very important again. So when we go ahead and click on this window, services tab, you will find that there's an option which says support edge services. Okay, support edge services, you will find yes and no. When it is selected on no, it means that you are not, the system is not liable for any kind of support from NetApp. So we have to select yes over here. Okay, otherwise, no support. So after you click on yes, what happens is that there are some offerings that comes up. Now, support edge services has three basic, heads. One is the basic. The basic includes simple kind of troubleshooting. Okay, I'll share the data sheet, or there is an option over here where you can go ahead and find it. So support edge services, if you click over there, uh, there is an option where you can go ahead and, okay, so access detailed. So it will take you directly. Okay. I can share you all the details regarding what are the offerings, which are like what is the detailed support that is provided in basic or advisor or expert. Generally, what we have found that we don't need expert. You can select advisor, the normal support that we provide, because expert comes with support services like a SAM service. These are all getting bundled in an expert. Proactive, SLA checking, all those. There are a lot of things that are included in expert. So you don't need to choose expert. Select advisor over here, and you need to select your term. So say for example, customer needs for 4 years. So you can select 48 months. The default response time selected is NBD delivery. Okay. What you can do is you can upgrade this hardware service level with a 4-hour replacement. Please note, this is not a 4-hour response. Okay. This is a 4-hour replacement. There are some OEMs which are in the market who also gives something called a 4-hour response. So what is the difference between 4-hour replacement and a 4-hour response? So when you call up the call center, or when you raise a ticket with the OEM, what happens is that you generally receive of a first call from the L1 technician, to the the customer receives that call. Okay, so that particular response time is what the OEMs refer to as 4-hour response, wherein in NetApp, when we say 4-hour replacement, it means that the technician will call within, it, if it is a P1 category call, the highest priority call, it will be assigned a response within 30 minutes, and the particular faulty part will get replaced in next 4 hours. Okay, so it's not just response, we'll replace the faulty part for you. So there is a lot of cost that is involved in this particular hardware level upgrade. Okay, make sure that when you are bidding for any kind of project, your competition also gives you 4 hour replacement. There are places, we, if it is very near to the depot, we even can give you with a 2 hour replacement upgrade. Okay, so you can understand, like, that is the kind of service level that we can guarantee the customer. But before you commit any kind of a replacement upgrade to the customer, make sure that we have a depot in that particular city. We also have service level engineers who can go ahead and do the replacement for you. So these are the things you first need to cross check with us before you select that option. Okay. So, so if you select as 4 hour replacement, I explained to you what it means and how we can differentiate from competition. And believe me, some competitions, they charge you like crazy when you select 4 hour replacement. Okay. Their cost goes haywire. Now, there are some government customers who also ask for non-returnable drives. Say, for example, if you are replacing the drive for a faulty drive for a customer, that, but as it is a government customer or some compliance, policy is there for that customer, so that particular customer won't be able to replace the drive. So in that particular scenario, you need to select on non-returnable drives, and you will see the term of this non-returnable drives will automatically pick up the term which you select in your advisor. Deployment, this is basically professional services from NetApp, and we provide three kind of implementation over here, and it includes basic, standard, and advanced. Basic means simple racking, stacking, and powering on. Standard includes your implementation, creation of the LANs, zoning of the switches, and mapping the LAN with the WWPN of the switches, and then with the host. So all these things are included in standard, and advanced is like, say, for example, if you want to go ahead and do a side-to-side replication, peer mirroring, or you want to create a snap log volume and you want to create a schedule with a snap vault or a snap mirror scheduling. So these are all the complex, installation, all would come under advanced. Okay. So these are the three criterias that, and if the partner organization has the capability to go ahead and deploy that particular storage, so you can go ahead and select it as none. Okay. So it's not mandatory that it has to be from NetApp. Is this a tech refresh? You can select no, or plus if customer wants any kind of a ransomware recovery guarantee, either you can select yes, or if he doesn't want, then you can select no. Okay. But please discuss with us if the customer wants any kind of a program like because this is a ransomware recovery assurance service. Okay, so you need to talk with the OEM team also to determine what would be the SLA, to determine what would be the backend work that needs to be done. Okay, so for the time being, I am selecting no. Do you want your NetApp professional services team to install Blue XP? So no. Any additional services, if like you want, you can discuss with us. Say, for example, in case you want that OEM should do the migration, so you can discuss the entire scope with us. We will talk with the NetApp PS team and we will decide how many mandates would be required, and we'll share a SOW with you. But please remember, NetApp PS is very costly, so it would be highly recommended if you go with the PS of your own organization. Okay. Now, after that, there is an option of training. Now you can either choose training units based on the country, or you can also select a starter package. Now, the benefit of starter package is that there are 6 days of training that are included in one pack, and there is also a certification voucher that is already included. So, so that means, a particular voucher would include your 6 days of training, and it can be you can go ahead and do any kind of a certification training at later point of time, but within the time frame of 1 year. And based on that, you can select which country. You can select Dubai, or it basically is the region where it would get selected. Okay. So after you select that, you click on add code, add to code. Okay. So when you click on add to quote, what will happen is that it will go to the first window, the quotage window, wherein you will find, the configuration along with the prices, everything would be shown over there. It will move out from the CPQ. So any questions? Because I'm the one who is speaking all the time. Any questions over here? I'm sure you get definitely a lot of problems.
Nothing from my side.
Okay. So, so you will find that this particular configuration that we have created is, has been added, and the complete configuration you can see over here. Okay. Now over here, what you need to do is on the left hand side, you will find that, the options of pricing over there. So what you need to do is you need to contact your account manager in Logicom, and you need to share him or her the particular quote ID. The particular account manager will discuss with OEM, and based on a mutual consent will provide a discounting and will share the final prices with you. Okay. So please don't go ahead and put these prices, by yourself and share the prices with the customer, because these prices needs to be first approved by NetApp. Post then you can share it with the customer. Okay. So what you can do, you can share the quote ID. There are a lot of resellers who does the entire configuration and shares the quote ID with us, and we talk with the NetApp team, and based on the mutual discussion we put a discounting and we share the prices back to them. Then that particular reseller goes ahead and uh, shares the price with the customer. So that is the process. Okay. Now say for example you want to edit this particular configuration. So you see actions over here, you can go ahead and click on edit. Okay. Or say for example you want to copy exactly as is, you can just click on this and you will find there is another option coming up with the same A70 model over here. So let's wait for a second, it will come up. So this is the same option you can see over here, or you can go ahead and delete this option as well. Okay. So you don't need to go ahead and do the same configuration multiple times. So over here now, after the pricing gets approved and you need to share with customer, what you can do is you can click on this print and export. Okay. So after you click on export, you can either export it in a document, Microsoft Word, or a PDF, or an XLS, or a CSV format. Okay. Now, if say for example, you select PDF, now it will ask you what are the options that you want to share over here in that particular PDF. And say, for example, these are the option which is selected over here. You can also go ahead and, if you don't want to share the prices, then you can just go ahead and deselect these options. Okay. Or if you want, you can, keep these options, whichever you want. So after you go ahead and click on export quote. So you will find that export is in process and it gets saved in your. So this is how you will find this particular solution quotation, and all the options are over here. But you won't see any kind of pricing over here. The reason is that I have unchecked that pricing option while I was printing the report. So if you want, you can always go ahead and keep the pricing option if you want to share it with customer, or give it in a format like that. Yes, Gaurav.
Abhishek, there have been instances where we are trying to download or export the
Mhm.
quotation. However, a lot of line items are missing.
Mhm.
You
It can
you
happen.
yourself,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I myself faced a problem. I'll tell you, there was a E series option wherein I mixed SAS drive with SSD drives. Okay.
Mhm. Mm,
And when I printed that, when I exported it, the
mm,
SAS drives are missing. Okay.
mm,
So I raised a bug, bug ticket with the internal team, and they confirmed, yes, it is a bug in the system. So in and like the way I understood was that the number of fillers, the disk fillers is exactly equal to the total, minus the total capacity of the drives. So say for example, I have taken 5 SSDs and 5 SAS drives, so total is 10. So remaining 14 would be like fillers, right? So
mm.
there are 14 fillers that is printed correctly. So the configuration is actually taking the 5 plus 5, but it is not, it is just a printing error or the printing bug. It's not
Is
that
it
the,
is it still is that issue still persistent, or is it resolved by now?
no, it is resolved. The internal team came back to me and they said they have resolved it. And they also gave me a case ID, which is like, which you could see. And I printed it, it was resolved. So it
Yeah,
might
the
happen.
thing
I'm
is,
not.
between us and I, and no bragging here, but
Mhm,
we have an experience on NetApp and configured a tool for almost 15 years and plus. And
mhm,
with the new tools coming in like Ascend, there were a lot of bugs and issues that happened
mhm,
as to this kind of missing line items. With
mhm.
this new configurator, I hope all is set, and
Yeah, yeah. So
because not
look.
everybody
Mm,
is aware or experienced enough on the tools to map
mhm,
the
mhm.
overall BOQ correctly, right? Sometimes it
Right.
so happens that you selected, it's not in the BOQ, you sent the quotation, and then you realize, oh, the client is asking questions back and forth.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
there should be a way to confirm the BOQ, although we always have you
Sure.
guys at the back end to confirm, but it should still be an option to report and get
Correct.
it corrected. Yeah.
Correct, correct. So
Okay.
look, like in my entire career, like I have worked on so many tools, starting from IBM configurator, Lenovo DCSE configurator, HP configurator. So like I have seen there are bugs everywhere. Okay, you cannot just tell that this is a problem with a particular tool or something like that. Okay, but the thing is that yes, whenever you move, say for example, you moved from Ascent to a Spark at the back end, there will be lot of teething issues that will come up initially. Okay, so don't worry about that. we are there at the back end. If you ask us to confirm, we will go ahead and confirm it for you. And in fact, we can also show you, give you a confirmation from the backend team that yes, that's a bug that you can see. So those are the things that can be done, and if required, we can speak with the customer as well. Customer from a customer standpoint, they need a confirmation from the OEM, or they need a confirmation from the distributor. No, whatever is being given, it includes what I want to take. So that
Right.
is the
But
only confirm.
there is no, let's say, for example, there is a certain bug still present. See, it's IT. We expect it to fail, and the client still wants to see the complete BOQ because it's a compliance thing. You're getting my point?
Right, right.
So
So we have other ways of getting,
extracting.
we can, yes. So if we
Okay.
ask the backend team, they can extract it, and they can share the details with you as well. So
Okay.
those
Perfect.
can be done. That's what I'm telling you. It's not a dead end. Okay.
Okay.
There
Thank
are
you.
many ways, wherein the backend team can go ahead and extract reports, and they have lot other tools wherein they can do it. Okay, which we cannot. So there is lot of help available internally. Okay, so don't worry on that. And if such a situation arises, please reach out to me or Arvind or Nikhil, anyone in the team. Definitely will be helping you. Okay.
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 Thank you.
Yeah. So so this is like a small option wherein, like where I'm showing you like create a new storage over here. Now I will go and create a new. So there is another tool called fusion.netapp.com. Some of you may know that Fusion is a tool for sizing. Uh, for sizing of the NetApp storage. Okay. How many of you have used the Fusion tool before? Can you guys raise your hand? No one. Okay. Atif, one. Gaurav, two. Okay. Great. So this is a tool from where you can go ahead and size the requirement of the customer. Okay. So customer says I need 50 TB or a 75 TB or a 100 TB capacity. I need this much of throughput from the storage. These are the things. Sorry, these are the things the customer will tell you, and be based on the total amount of the applications databases that he has, the amount of snapshot copies he will keep. He does all the calculation, he keeps a year on year growth, and he decides that in the next 5 years I need a storage with this much of capacity. Now he comes to you and he says that please give me a storage which will have this functionalities, and you decide that you want to go with NetApp, and you start on sizing the requirement. So you open up fusion.netapp.com and you land in this particular web page. Now at the top, there are a lot of options. There are a lot of different ways in which you can size it, but I am going to speak on only one way for your simplicity and, for your understanding. Otherwise, there are a lot of things over here and you can seriously get confused over here. I have been using this tool for last 9.5 years. So I know there are a lot of options, through which you can make any people confused. Okay. So please don't go to any other option. So over here on the top, you will find the product line. So whether it's a all flash, or you are doing a fabric pool sizing, or a storage grid, or an E series, these are the products that are at the top. Generally, most of the time you select AFF or an E series based on the requirement. So today we will go with an on tap only, whether A series A70, we will show it to you. Now, when you select A series on this leftmost option, you will find that there are four options or the workflow option. Like there is sizing and recommend. Like there are options wherein you can put in your desired outputs and the system will recommend it for you. Okay. Perform a take refresh. So you put in the active IQ1 collect data, you upload those data, and the system will give you recommendation. Okay. Sorry. Design a system manually. And last one is modifying existing storage. The only option for today I would ask you is think about is design a system manually. Don't think about the other option, because again this will take a lot of time to explain the other options. Okay, so for the simplicity, take the third option, which is design a system manually. Okay, so I select this option and I select design a system manually and I click on go to design. Okay, now after I click on go to design, there is please raise your hand, stop me, ask questions. Okay, because if one page is gone, then it becomes very difficult to come back again to the first window. So over here, we will see there is an option called add system. In add system, you will find there are a lot of options, or or a lot of storage options over here. So always click on the supported option. Now, when you click on the supported option, you will find that the existing storages that are, right now are being shown over here on the right hand side. And there are options separately for AFF. There are options for ASA, and there are options for FAS, 7 mode, AFF metro cluster, ASA metro cluster. In metro cluster, there are fabric, there are IP, there are a hell lot of things. Okay, FAS metro cluster. So guys, only concentrate on the first three tabs, AFF, ASA, and FAS. Don't, if there is anything that comes on the last four option, please reach out to me. Okay. Now, when you select on AFF option on the left hand side, there is also an option called show legacy. When you click on show legacy, it will also show you options which have got end of availability. Okay. Say for example, I'm really sorry. A220 is a storage which was last available on October 4th, 2021. So those systems which were available at one point of time and are not available anymore. AFF 200, it's a very old system. I have sold this system once in 2019. So AFF 300, 320A, these are the old systems. AFF 8020. Okay. Um, so if you want to do a reverse sizing to see for an old customer how much of throughput that particular customer is getting on his existing NetApp storage, so you can do a reverse sizing by putting the number of disks and everything you create, and you can find out how much of IOPS that particular customer is receiving right now. Okay. But if it is not, then you deselect this show legacy option and we choose these options. Okay. Now we had selected AFF A70 as an option while creating the bill of material. Okay. So we select that. Now, when you select this A70 option, there are a lot of things you can see over here. Okay. Now the box looks like this. Okay. Now over here, there are a lot of information. Like it says that there are two nodes over here. That means two nodes means two controllers over here. It's four rack units. So it's a 4U in the rack units, and there are 48 drive slots. So in the internal enclosure or the controller enclosure, you can find 40, you can put 48 drives over here. Okay. So what are the drive option? So if you click on this option, which this where the drive is, click over here, you will find all the drive options that are available. Okay. So I'll come to this, but before that, I wanted to show you some of the things. So there is also something which is called as C specs. Okay. So there are a lot of the things that you might want to know. Say, for example, what is the processor that is being given in this particular controller? Okay, like how many cores does each processor has in A70? Because there is in some tenders you need to write those things. Okay, so over here there is an option which says C specs. So if you click on C specs, it will directly take you to hardware universe. Okay, but again, you need to have the Partner Hub access username and password to go to Hardware Universe as well. Okay. When you go to Hardware Universe is the place where you can get all the information regarding the hardware that you are proposing. Not only, in fact, the on-tap limits also you can find. So everything you can see over here, what are the supported shelves and drives, what are the adapter cards, what are the supported switch and bridge firmwares, lot of things. Okay, now how many total number of drives it is supported, max drives, um, what is the raw capacity, what is the number of SVMs in an NAS environment, how many number of lifts supported, how many number of S3 connections it supports. Okay, SVMs, FlexWall supported. It is in detail option. Okay, now I'll scroll down. Now you can see this is the information. So it's like a 64-bit, 16 core, 2 gigahertz is the processor model which is used over here. And there are total, per controller, you have got two processors. Okay, so as it is a dual redundant controller system, so there will be total of four processors, and each processor has got 16 cores. So four processor, you will get total of 64 cores. So you get information like this, plus you get information as what is the total amount of RAM or the memory or the cache memory that you have. Okay, how many number of PCI slots that are available. Okay. What are the compliance and certificates report in terms of safety certification? Everything you can find it over here. One was the release date of the product. It's May 2024. There are some products, old products, which had already got end of availability. You can see those details over here only. Okay, if there is no date mentioned for end of availability, so that means NetApp has not announced the EUA for that particular product. Okay, so like there are a lot of information regarding how much of snapshots you can create and everything. Okay, this particular, please bookmark your page, your browser. For this particular page, hardware universe hwu.netapp.com, or you can go to Fusion and you can open it like that. Okay, so we are back to Fusion now. So over here I select, say for example, I select some 40 number of drives of 15.3 TB SSD. Okay, now this is all in the internal of the capacity of the expand, of the enclosure. We don't need additional enclosures. Now after that, the second tab you see, that's the like the distribution of those drives, how it happens. It shows over there. Okay. Now you will find that there are four options which gets auto created. So this, if you at the top you see it's automatically created. Now automatically what happens is that the system tries to create a root aggregate and data aggregate. Okay. Now it might happen that you might not agree to that. So you have the option to change the data aggregate, but root aggregate you cannot. This is automatically generated in the system, and there are the root aggregate keeps information about the system, the pointers, the file layer, everything. All this system, you cannot use in the application, cannot use the capacity on the root aggregate. the application or the database can only use, or the virtual machine can use the data only from the data aggregate. Okay. Now, what you can do is you can go ahead and, expand. You can create, bigger rate size groups. And say, for example, you want to create another sphere. You can, instead of one sphere, you want to keep two spheres. That also you can do. Or you want to keep some space reserved for snapshot. You can create a percentage over here, 10%, 5%, and you can create a reserve space for snapshot. So over here, when you click, so you will find this is user defined. This is not automatically, you have changed it. Okay. Now same over here. Over here, what I do is I click on additional um, thing, and I want to create another sphere. So two spheres I want to keep. Also remember, for NVMe and SSDs, the default option is RAID DP. If you want to create RAID tech or triple erasure coding or triple parity RAID, you can also select over here. But if you select that, your usable capacity will decrease because parity will take up some of the capacity from your aggregate. So I'm keeping it as dual parity, which is two drive failure protection in the same aggregate. Over here, I add it, and you will find that this is the user defined. Now on the right hand side, you will find that the total usable capacity is 450 TB what we have received. This is the raw capacity. Now customer is asking that how much of performance I will receive when I take 40 drives of this 15 TB with NVMe. How much of performance do I get? So on the right hand side, there is a graph option. Over here, you select that. And now over here, there's a drop down and you select add manually. Okay, this is the place where you can go ahead and manually, create an workload, and you put it on the particular aggregate, or you can split the workload among two aggregates, and you can get how much of performance can be delivered from your particular
Is it only me or everybody has lost?
Yeah, yeah, Gaurav, you're true. I think we have lost him. Just one moment. Be online, please.
Sure, okay.
Hello,
Yeah, you're
hello.
on now. You're on now. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think we lost you from the previous one. I think, yeah, the previous slide.
From
What
the
you
previous
were.
screen, yes.
Yeah.
My screen is visible now.
Yeah, your screen is visible except for the audio. I think you were explaining about that, the capacity and whatever, and all those things. So that's where we lost you.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is the window where we create an workload. Okay, so say for
No,
example,
Abhishek,
it's a
Abhishek, we lost you halfway through the previous window.
okay, this window
Yeah,
or this
yeah.
one.
No,
No,
no, no,
no.
the next one.
Next one.
Okay, this one.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Apologies, there was my internet went away. Okay, so this is the place from where we can determine how much of performance my storage can deliver. Okay, so what we do is basically the idea of this tool is like you create an workload. Okay, and you put it on the aggregate and see how much that particular aggregate can sustain. Okay, so I'll show it to you. Over here, there's an option called add manually. I click on add manually, and there are two options, basic workload and detailed workload. Go to detailed workload, which is basically a reverse sizing kind of environment we create. So we create on VMware, name it VMware. Okay. Now, if you remember, we have taken, 450 TB is the total capacity. Now, this particular data store that we are creating for VMware, I take it as 100 TB. Okay. Now, on the right hand side, there is an option of the efficiency. So either you can put 2, then this effective capacity would be 50, or you can keep it 1:1. If the customer you want to show as 3:1, that also you can do. So this shows your effective capacity. So if I put 300, then your capacity becomes 100 TB usable capacity with energy savings, efficiency savings. Okay, clear? And what I do is I put an throughput over here, say for example, 1 lakh IOPS, or say for example, 2 lakh IOPS. Okay. And the latency, I say it should be less than 1 millisecond. So 0.5 millisecond. Then the protocol type. So when I am mounting this data store to the virtual machines, so I use a fiber channel. Okay, I'm not mounting it as an NFS. I'm mounting it on a fiber channel. I'm using the block protocol. So over here, I click on FCP, which is the fiber channel protocol, and I select the block loads of the IOs. So generally what happens is that VMware kind of an environment is an OLTP transaction. Okay. Um, so these are like a random reads and random writes. There is no sequential environment in VMware. Sequential data is basically like a batch processing kind of an environment, or a CCTV kind of an environment where there's a sequential data flowing. Okay. But over here in VMware database enterprise application, it's pure random. So what you do is generally sequential read and sequential write I put to 0. OLTP transaction, it can be 80-20, 80 read, 20 write, 70 read, 30 write in this particular ratio. Okay. And I choose the block size. So either I can choose 8K, I can choose 12K. I select 12K. If I have my application which writes at a different block size and reads at a different block size, I can do that as well. But over here, for simplicity, I am keeping it simple, wherein I am taking an environment of VMware and I am considering as it is an OLTP transaction, 70 would be read and 30 would be write. Okay. So I save the changes and I keep it over here. So you see that I have the workload that I have created is being shown over here right now. Now I have the option to put this workload on a single aggregate, or I can divide this workload among the two aggregates that I have created over here. Okay. But please remember there are no root aggregates because root aggregate is used by the system. So these are the two data aggregates. And why there are two? Because it is load balanced. So aggregate 1 gets mounted to your first controller and aggregate 2 remounted to the second controller. In case of active storage also, like because of the load balancing, two aggregates is a good way of sizing the storage. Okay. Now what I will do, I will go ahead and split this workload into these two aggregates. So over here, it says this workload will be distributed amongst all selected aggregates evenly. How did I do that? There is an arrow sign over here. So it says split workload. So I click on split workload and it goes ahead and splits. Okay. So my workload which I have created gets splitted among these two aggregates. Okay. Then I click on revalidate system. So now what I see is that this is the 2 lakh IOPS that I was trying to achieve from the VMware data store, that will only amount to 42% of my system utilization. My max performance that I can achieve with this aggregates with the 40 number of NVMe is 4,64,000 IOPS. What was the latency? 0.5 millisecond. Okay, and this is the throughput that I can achieve. Okay, now I have to present it to the customer. So I click on reports at the top. There is a green ball with reports. Okay, so there is a technical proposal. So click on technical proposal over here. Am I going fast or is it okay?
You're not going
And
fast, but it is too much of information.
oh, okay, I am ready to repeat this again, but
No, 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 no need, no need.
okay. Now the reason why I'm showing you all these things is that we have the means to show, because what we are doing is logically, like we are trying to open to you, we are being transparent with you. So this is a report that can be generated over here, and you can change this name of the customer. You can enable editing over here and say you put the project ID and you put the name of the customer XXX, and you scroll down, you will find you can add your section over here, like what was the requirement of the customer. Okay, you can add it over here. It is editable, and then you find the solution summary. We have provided 450 TB of usable capacity. This is the utilization. Maximum throughput is this. This is the IOPS that was delivered with a particular workload of 100 TB VMware data store, like all rack units, system height, everything. Okay. Mm, part numbers. Okay. And then the environmental details, for the cooling stuff, how much of BTU power consumption, everything is required. You can share this with the customer. And lastly, we also share the aggregate distribution. I can explain to you, but it will become a lot more complicated. Okay, because there are a lot of things called partitioning over here, wherein a single physical drive gets get logically partitioned into two and gets distributed in the aggregate. So there are a lot of things over here. The most important thing that I wanted to show you over here is that, so on the right hand side, it shows you what is your total, how much of capacity you have taken as raw and how much of capacity you are getting as usable. Okay. Now, if you remember, we had taken RAID DP, okay, which is basically like a kind of a RAID 6 environment. So RAID 6 is again like dual parity, whereas RAID DP is also dual parity. So we are able to achieve almost 80% usable from the raw capacity, though we are using RAID DP or a dual parity protection. In RAID 6, if you go to any other competition, they won't be able to get more than 65 to 66% in a RAID 6 or a dual parity protection. Okay, whereas we are able to achieve almost 80%. The reason for that is that we use something called as advanced data partitioning. Okay, so this is the layout for that advanced data partitioning. I'll skip that. And the good thing is that whenever you are putting in your efficiency, like a 2x, 3x, 4x, the amount of capacity that the customer gets in an effective, it gets exponentially multiplied. Okay. Like my competitor gives 66% usable capacity in comparison to the raw. When he multiplies it with 4x to get an effective capacity, however, with NetApp, I am getting 80% raw to usable conversion. When I multiplied with it with 4x, the amount of capacity, effective capacity gets exponentially increasing. The reason because whenever you multiply with, you can understand what I'm trying to say. So that's the benefit that you can show to the customer. Okay,
Mhm.
look, and this is all documented. This is like there is. It's not like editable thing. We have edited this and put this figure. These are all system generated as per the calculations done on the tool. Okay, and at the end you will find that there are a lot of certifications, like customer can see this link, and you know you can share this with the customer. So this is the tool that I was talking about, Fusion tool, and you can share the report with the customer for, the first level conversation, or in fact, whenever you are submitting any kind of report or a bid document, you can submit this. This is actually a validation document wherein we confirm that whenever we say something on this particular document, we will achieve that particular performance, we will achieve that particular capacity. Okay, so this is all about Fusion. I have tried to explain to you in real layman's term. Okay, because there are a lot of additional things you can do on this tool, but at the end it will become much more confusing. Okay, so what are the three things that we have learned today? So first is our the opportunity creation, and then we created a quote on that particular opportunity, and we are able to extract that quote, and we can share it with the customer along with the prices, or like however the situation demands. Second, we were able to go to the Fusion website. On the Fusion website, we are able to size a particular storage, and we were able to generate a performance report. And again, we can share that Fusion report or the technical solution document with the customer. And third is the hardware universe. So wherein we can get details of any particular hardware which NetApp sells, and including the processor details, the end of availability, end of support, what are the FRUs, what are the onboard cables, everything. So these are the three important things that we have learned today. Again, there are a lot of things that I wanted to speak, but again, uh, due to availability of time, and the more complicated it becomes. So is there any questions that you'd like to ask, or any follow-up sessions that you need me to do so that we can understand or go deep dive into it? I'll be happy to do that.
Thank you, Abhishek.
Okay. Was it a useful session?
It was quite insightful, for people who are revising it like me. Changing from one tool to the other was a little difficult, but to adapt. But it was
Ah,
a very insightful session. I would definitely come back to you in case I need another one for any specifics.
sure, sure. Because there are a lot of options where you can upgrade. There are upgrade options. There are options where you can extend the cluster, or you can create with the switches, network switches, everything. There are a lot of options, but on a single day, if I show all those options, like you will forget. I'm 100% sure. Okay. So any other feedback you guys want to share before we go ahead and close the call? I wanted to be interactive session, but I hardly got any questions apart from God of.
With so much information you're sharing, most of the people, I guess,
Uh,
left.
yeah. Yeah.
It
No
was a
problem.
good session, Abhishek.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So if required, was the team, you can come back to us. We can, yes, yes, we will surely, share the recording with you guys. And any other things that you need, any other help, we can take a follow-up session as well. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining the session. It was really a pleasure to interact with you, everyone. Okay. Have a great day.
Thank you, Abhishek.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Logicon team. Bye bye.
Thanks, Gaurav. Thanks, everyone. Thank you so much.